Well, hey, Double Oak Community Church, Mount Laurel. It is good to see all of you. Listen, over the past couple months, we have announced a ton of things at the church. And I know many of you guys heard those, but you might not have heard about a couple if you were out for a week or didn't catch the podcast. And we wanted to make sure you guys were up to speed on everything that's going on. And so what this is just going to be an informational video for you. So over the course of the next few minutes, we'll cover a bunch of different topics. And look, you can listen for exactly what you want. In fact, if you will look down below at the bottom of the video, you can actually see little breaks that will tell you all about what we're going to talk about. So if you want to skip ahead to something, you can. But really, we just want to make sure you guys were up to date and informed about everything going on with the church. Sound good? Let's go. First up, Sabbatical. You guys may have heard a few weeks ago, but coming up very soon, I will be heading out for a 6-week sabbatical. For those of you who've been here a while, you know that 2.5 years ago, the elders awarded me a sabbatical, and I was actually supposed to do this in April of 2020. But then we had a pandemic, and that didn't happen. And so it has been postponed up until now, but the elders have seen fit to put it back on the schedule. And so coming up right here the day after Easter, April 18th, through the end of May, I will not be here every week, but instead I'll be heading out on sabbatical. Now, if that's a new term for you, you've never heard of it before, you might at least recognize parts of that word. It's where we get the term Sabbath or rest. A sabbatical is just an extended period of time where pastors can go to rest, recharge, rejuvenate, but also to plan and vision for the future. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a lot of resting. I'll be traveling to some other places just to talk to other pastors, to be getting new ideas, but also just really recharging as we get ready for another decade of ministry together. And so I do hope that you'll be praying for me and with me about that. I am very much looking forward to it. Quite honestly, my soul is just very weary. I have loved every minute of being here, and I'm looking forward to more years to come, but there's always a litany of crises going on. There's always things to be handled. And so to have the opportunity to take an extended time to rest and really think through and plan for the future of where we're going is something I'm very desirous of. And so I hope that you'll be praying for me as we go through this. But hey, I do not want to leave you in the lurch. I've got some incredible guys lined up to be preaching for you while I'm gone. Every week you'll get a different speaker. Some of them will be our own guys on staff, but I've also invited some other local pastors to come in and fill the pulpit. These are men I know well who love the Lord, and I am excited for you to be taught and encouraged by them. And so please be here every week during this sabbatical, and I promise I'll be back right at the end of May, beginning of June, and we'll kick off the summer together. But be praying for me as we do that. Next up, Refurbishment. If you've been here on Sunday mornings or looking around the building, you might have noticed a few improvements. We have been spending a lot of time here at Mount Laurel over the past few years focusing on Chelsea, getting a brand new building designed and built, and everything that goes along with that. But we have an aging building here as well. We've been in this facility for 12 years now, and it is due for a few different refurbishments. And some of these we've already done, and some of these that we're going to be doing in the weeks to come. The biggest one you've probably heard about is our refurbishment of the Commons. We've been working with a group called Method 1 for over a year now, designing different things, but we really want to refurbish the Commons to be a much more welcoming and inviting space, to have more seating for different people, a dedicated connections desk in the corner where people can get all the information that they need, whether they are visitors or members of the church. We'll have new lighting in place. We'll have our core values prominently displayed, a cross above the door as we head into worship. We're very excited to make this space more intentional. And so you can see all the pictures for that as you walk in to the worship room. But that is going to be installed by April the 10th, the week before Easter. So it's coming up very soon, but you'll notice that for sure. But there have been other things as well. Inside the worship room, starting last year, we've also been doing some upgrades to our PA system and our AV system. We actually have a brand new sound system in the worship room. And you may have noticed the difference in the sound. It's a very much more even sound in the room. It sounds a ton better. We're very excited to finally have a brand new PA system in the room. In addition to that, we also have new projectors and new screens. We squeezed every ounce of life out of those last projectors that we could, but when we could no longer buy used parts on eBay, we knew it was time for an upgrade. So we have brand new projectors as well as new screens, and so things will look a little brighter. It's a little easier to see even when the shades are open. And so all of those are new upgrades there. Also in the worship room, coming soon, but not here yet, are new chairs. Our chairs are the original chairs we've had that are over 12 years old. They're a little worse for wear. But we've bought a whole new set of chairs. They are being shipped to us as we speak, but they're not going to get here till most likely July. And so it's going to be a while. But brand new chairs are coming. It's going to help us freshen up the room. If you've been to the Chelsea campus, they will be the same type of chairs that are at the Chelsea campus, although they will be a different color. But we're very excited about brand new chairs in the worship room. Also in this building, starting the week of March the 20th, we're going to start to get a brand new roof. We had storm damage to our roof last year during the tornadoes, but thankfully we are fully insured and we're getting a brand new roof for free, which is amazing because we had budgeted to pay for a lot of it and now we don't have to. But it's going to take a while to put a brand new roof on this main building where the worship room resides. So that will be happening over the course of a couple weeks here at the end of March. Finally, if you go over across the street to the community building, you might notice that the cafe has been refurbished. We use the cafe for a lot of different events, but it is very loud and noisy. And so what we've done is not only a new coat of paint on all the walls, but there are now sound treatments on the ceiling and on the walls, as well as new PA and new TVs as well. It is a much more usable space, and we're going to continue to use it well. But that has been refurbished as well. So a lot of things in the works, a lot of things that have happened as we continue to just refresh things here at Mount Laurel, and we hope you enjoy all those changes. All right, an update with our elders. We have an incredible set of elders across both campuses that have been doing a ton of work over the past few years. But periodically we have changes in who our head elder is. This last year, Lewis Cole has been serving as our head elder, and we really appreciate all his work and leadership in guiding us through this time. But at the end of this past year, we elected a new head elder. His name is Mike Mantooth. Mike's been on the elder board for a couple years now and is also doing an incredible job. He is based here at Mount Laurel. Many of you guys know Mike, but I hope if you don't, you'll get to know him. But he'll be serving this year as our head elder. And again, I cannot thank him enough, as well as all of our other elders, for helping us guide the church forward as we move into new things. But be sure to congratulate Mike and to pray for him and encourage him in this role. On now to youth ministry. We have seen a lot of changes, and as we are coming out of COVID and getting things back up to steam, all of our ministries are really spinning up. But as we do so, across the street with our student ministry, Noelle has been really leading us well for these past few months and years, but she's having to do that all by herself. When Noelle came here, she was on a team that got up to 4 different people. But as we have made changes, as we started campuses, as Corey left a couple years ago, Noelle has found herself as the lone youth leader across the street. And so as we've been looking at this and talking with her, we came to the place of saying, Noelle really wants to work more exclusively with middle school students. She really feels that her giftings lean more in that direction. So we are now in the process of searching for a high school youth minister to come work alongside Noelle in serving our students. So this will be a companion position. This will be a male to be a counterpart to Noelle as a female. So we have one of each for all of our students. We are actively in that search right now. If you know of somebody who might be a good fit for our church and our students who might fit that role, we would love for you to shoot us their resume. You can actually contact David Watson at dwatson@doubleoakcc.org as we continue to search for a high school youth minister. But please be in prayer for us. We would love to add this person sooner rather than later. So please be in prayer for that, and we will let you know once we have a candidate as soon as we can. All right, I know we're bouncing around a lot, but Easter is coming up very soon. It'll be here in just a few weeks, and most of you might remember last year we did something very special. We did Easter outside. We just had one massive worship service for Easter, and there have been questions as, are we going to do that again? No. We're going to go back to what we did the year before. We're going to have 3 different Easter services at 8, 9:30, and 11. Now, take note of that because that's not our normal times right now. But so that we can have 3 equal length services, we're going to do this just for this 1 week, 8, 9:30, and 11. We are expecting very large crowds. And so if you want to guarantee a seat, I'd come at that 8 o'clock service. But we want to accommodate as many people as possible. We will be having a preschool ministry in the 9:30 and 11, and we will have kids worship in 9:30 and 11. We will not be having community groups. So no community groups across the board, just worship. But we will have kids in preschool in those last 2 hours. Listen, I hope that you're going to be encouraging your neighbors to come. You'll invite them to come. Tell them to come sit with you and say, come be a part. Come celebrate the resurrection with us at Easter. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see you there. I hope you bring your friends. On to strategy shift update. This is something, if you've been here at all and you're watching this video, you have probably heard about, but I want to make sure everybody is up to speed. Right at the beginning of the year, we let everybody know that we were contemplating a shift in our campus strategy. Up until now, we've been one church on 2 campuses, but we're almost 5 years into this process now, and really the dynamics have changed. We have a really thriving campus at Chelsea now with its own staff and its own building in place. They're averaging almost 500 people a week at that campus alone. And so as we've grown, we've recognized the need to really shift our strategy so that we can do maximum ministry in multiple places. And we asked you to join with us in prayer about that. So for the past 2 months and more, we have been praying about this. And at the end of it, we came to the place where we sensed that the vast majority of the church was amenable to such a change. But also that we had a lot of questions. What would that look like? How would we do that? When would it happen? What are all the details? And those are things we have not worked out yet. But we do recognize that the Lord is leading us into shifting our strategy. And so this past Sunday, we passed an amendment to our bylaws that really sets the elders free to investigate what this might look like and to come up with a concrete plan. So that's what we're going to be doing. Over the course of the next months, we'll be getting answers to all the questions that you brought up and crafting a plan that ultimately we will bring to the congregations once everybody feels comfortable with that. Now, we don't have a timeline for that just yet. So that could be in 6 months. It could be in a year or a lot longer. We're going to take as long as it takes to get everything right, to answer all the questions before we do anything. But what this bylaw amendment did do is that it created a few committees that will help us explore and find answers to those things. And it charged the elders of giving regular reports to the congregation. So you can be looking forward to those over the course, really through the rest of the spring and through the summer. And we'll let you know how progress is going. But that's really the next step. We're going to be here for a while as we continue to work through this. And we will give you all the answers once we have them. And we'll let you know where we'll go from there. If you have any other questions, please do not hesitate to ask me or any of the other elders, and we would love to help you with that. But I appreciate you praying about this. Continue to pray for us as we really move forward in this strategy shift. Many of you may be wondering about our Multiply campaign. We are in the last few months of a 3-year Multiply campaign. And guys, this has been an unqualified success. Many of you guys have already completed your pledges, which I really appreciate. Some of us, like me, are still paying monthly, and we will need to power through until we get to the end. And if you've fallen off, maybe now would be a great time to get back on the wagon and say, no, I want to complete the pledge that I made before the Lord and before His people. I do want to let you know, though, to date, we have raised 86% of the pledges that were made 3 years ago to the tune of $4.4 million. That is an incredible number. Let that sink in for just a second. Over the past 2.5 years, in the midst of a pandemic and all the crazy chaos that has ensued, when we have all of these changes of people having to worship remotely and going to different places, we've had people leave, we've had people come. In the midst of all of that, we not only met our budget each year, but you guys gave $4.4 million over and above that. That is astonishing. It is astounding. And listen, with those monies, we've done a few things. We have raised $500,000 for Give United over the course of 3 years. All of that money went to local ministries right here in the Birmingham area. We have also raised money to get the Chelsea building up and started. It didn't pay for the entire building, but it paid a huge chunk of getting that building up and running and getting started. And then thirdly, it's helped us to reduce the debt here at Mount Laurel. In fact, everything from this past year that went to Multiply and everything now until it's over is going to be reducing the debt here at Mount Laurel. We paid just shy of $1 million down on our debt last year alone through the Multiply campaign. And so look, we are almost there. Let's be faithful. Let's continue to give generously. But if you've made a pledge, let's go ahead and commit to finishing it. And even if you didn't, you just want to join in to what God is doing and the Lord leads you, we would love for you to give as well so we'd just love to kill the debt completely and not have it anymore. But Multiply is doing well. That is going to end up in June. But thank you again for your generosity. Some of you may be interested in our financial position of just kind of how we are doing as a church. And honestly, we are doing incredibly well. Just like the Multiply campaign, things have just been amazing over these past few years. I am awed by your faithfulness to the Lord, your generosity. But some of you might be interested in some of the specific numbers, and I'm going to actually check these out here. But last year, we had a budget of $4.167 million. It's a large budget that covered both of our campuses, but here's the good news. We actually underspent our budget at $4,065,000, and we overgave our budget to the tune of $4.509 million. Those are always great numbers. We not only met our budget in giving, we exceeded it, and we actually didn't spend as much as we had budgeted, which obviously left us with a surplus. Right now, we have an incredible cash position. We have about $1.2 million in our cash reserves. You might say, Adam, that's a lot of money. Why are we just sitting on that? Well, we keep 20% of our total budget in operational reserves on hand, just in case there were any sort of emergency or anything like that. So a lot of that money is in operational reserves. The rest of that money we are getting ready to allocate into different areas. We don't just want to sit on a hoard of cash. And we're looking for different ways that the Lord's going to release that here in the next year or two. But this is an incredibly strong financial position. And P.S., this covers both campuses. When you break this down campus by campus, both campuses are in the black. Both campuses are doing well. It really is an incredible financial position we find ourselves in. If you have more questions about that, I would really encourage you to talk to Brian Cornelius, our new administrator. He'd be happy to answer any more specific questions you have about that. But again, I could not be more thrilled with where we have been these past few years and for your faithful giving to the Lord in the midst of it. And finally, Livestream. Some of you guys have asked about this, and I have threatened this multiple times in the past, but we will not always be doing our Livestream service. Now, we don't have a date yet in place, so don't worry, we're not cutting this off tomorrow, and whenever we do decide to cut that off, we will give you ample warning ahead of time before it happens. But you might say, Adam, why? Why would we cut it off at all? If it's reaching anyone, why would we cut that off? Well, there is an investment on our side in manpower and technology to do this every week, but it's more than that. We really want you to be a part of our congregation, and it's just not the same at home. Any of us who worshiped at home during the pandemic knows that it was great to have the option, but it's not a one-to-one substitute. And so we really want to encourage people to come and experience worship live with us every single week. Now look, we are always going to have our audio podcast. It's typically up by about 1 p.m. on Sundays. Our video podcast will still go up. We'll still put our videos on YouTube. The only thing that we would cut off would be our live stream that happens at 9 a.m. on Facebook. And so there will still be options for everybody. You'll still be able to point new people to the website to see different things, but we want all of you back. In fact, if you're watching this and you haven't been back live in person, we need you back. Come be a part of worship. Come meet all the new people who are here. Come let them meet you. We want to be a family of faith together, and we can't do that unless we're together. So I want to encourage you to come back, but know that is coming sometime here in the future. We will let you know exact dates when we get ready for that. And that's it. You made it to the end of the video, which means you love the Lord more than other people. It's not technically true, but I hope you feel good about that. I really do. It means that you're passionate about this church and what He is doing in and around us. All of these things are important. And look, if there's something that we didn't cover in this video that you would like to know about, please contact me, arobinson@oakcc.org. You can call up to the church office and talk to Kim Anderson. You can talk to any of our staff. We would love to help you with other questions that you may have, but I hope that this has been helpful in really keeping you informed on what's going on. If other people ask questions, you can always point them to this video and say, hey, actually, we addressed that. It's right over here. Go check that out. And we might do more of these in the future. If you do enjoy things like this, man, shoot us an email. Let us know. I guess this is YouTube, so you can say it in the comments below. And say, hey, we like this. Please do more of these, and we'll be doing that. I don't think, can you subscribe? Can you subscribe? You can subscribe. I've always wanted to say that. I watch all these other videos. They tell you to do that. Let's get to 1 million subscribers, people. We can do it.